tight end is an absolute mess right now, with the current tight end one on the season, Dallas Goedert, currently averaging 13.6 points, which is the same as Wan'Dale Robinson and Jameson Williams. So streaming tight ends is more important than ever, with all of the top tight ends like Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, and Trey McBride either injured or underperforming. But I've got 3 candidates that you can stream this week who should be able to make a significant contribution to your fantasy football lineups in week 4. Now, at the tight end position, all it really takes is a touchdown, but these 3 tight ends have a snap share which should enable them to be able to contribute. And with other weapons on the field injured, there's potentially a chance that they can actually vastly outperform. The first tight end that I've got is Cole Kmet of the Chicago Bears. Now, Cole Kmet broke out last week, finishing as the tight end 2 on the week behind Dallas Goedert. In week 3, he saw 11 targets, posting 10 receptions for 97 yards and a touchdown, which is absolutely elite. But the main thing that I'm interested in is the fact that his snap share has been slowly rising, whereas Gerald Everett's has been declining at the same time. Now, this is something that I'll hold my hands up. I was wrong about in the offseason. I thought that Gerald Everett was going to end up being the Bears tight end 1, which was what they'd been showing us in the preseason, with Gerald Everett playing with the starters in 3 wide receiver sets. Now, they haven't had all 3 wide receivers healthy in the past few weeks, with Keenan Allen missing time. And Keenan Allen is back this week, so there's a chance it could change. But when you look at the snap count, it is night and day. In week 3, Cole Kmet was on the field for 81% of snaps, compared to Gerald Everett's 33%. That is not even close. And as I said, Cole Kmet saw 11 targets, and Gerald Everett saw 1. But the matchup is a smash as well. The Rams, as much as I hate to say it, have a terrible defense this year, and particularly against the tight ends, where they are the 4th worst in the NFL. So with that connection with Caleb Williams, the snap share, which is showing that he's got the role over Gerald Everett, and a smash matchup, Cole Kmet is a start this week. But Cole Kmet is going to be rostered in most leagues on Sleeper, so I have 2 more candidates for you who are actually less likely to be rostered, and someone you might be able to pick up on waivers if, say, for example, you had Evan Ingram, Trey McBride, and you're just looking towards your fantasy lineup and thinking, who on earth am I going to start at tight end? And who on earth is a question you might be asking with the next candidate, but in the highest over-under of the week, Elijah Higgins of the Arizona Cardinals actually has a chance to really contribute. So there's 2 main factors here. The first being that, as I said, the over-under is huge. For DFS lineups, this is the matchup you want to target. I put out a tweet yesterday looking at the fact that teams who have a bad defense and a good offense are an absolute goldmine for fantasy. And 2 of these teams are the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders, both of whom are able to move the ball on offense, but unable to stop the opposing team moving the ball. So there's going to be a lot of points in this matchup. Now, on the Cardinals side, obviously we're mostly going to be looking towards James Conner and Marvin Harrison Jr. But aside from that, they're now missing Trey McBride, who's missing time with a concussion that he suffered last week. Elijah Higgins scored a touchdown against the Rams in week 2. He's the clear handcuff to Trey McBride. Now I know, handcuffing a tight end isn't ideal. It's not like the running back position where there's guaranteed volume. But with Trey McBride missing time and uncertainty around the rest of the weapons in Arizona, outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. and James Conner, weapons like Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, they're fine role players, but they're not fantastic. Elijah Higgins has the opportunity to see all of the tight end target share, and that's a fair amount. Trey McBride has seen at least 6 targets in all 3 weeks of the season so far. He's probably the only highly drafted tight end who hasn't massively disappointed on the season, and obviously he's out. And I'm not saying that all 6 of these targets are going to go to Elijah Higgins, but he's a second-year player who's shown some development and a decent enough connection with Kyler Murray. But more importantly than that, he's only 28% rostered on Sleeper. In DFS, he should be an absolute smash play this week if you're looking to punt the tight end position. But in redraft as well, or even Dynasty where he's probably not rostered, if you're finding yourself hurting at the tight end position, Elijah Higgins can be someone that you can pick up and play right away in week 4, and maybe drop immediately afterwards. But I think in a smash matchup with a high over-under and a really vulnerable defense in front of him, Elijah Higgins has a real chance to contribute to your fantasy football teams this week, even if we never hear his name again. The final tight end that I have for you that's available to stream is my start of the week, and he's going quite under the radar, potentially because his quarterback's been missing time. But his quarterback should be back today, and Tucker Kraft has a smash matchup against the Vikings, who are vulnerable over the middle of the field. Not only are the Vikings the 9th worst team against the tight end, but they are currently one of the best run defenses in the NFL, which means that if the Packers want to move the ball quickly, they're going to have to target that middle of the field with Jordan Love returning from injury. Now, the Packers wide receiver core and their weapons generally are quite confusing, with Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. It's a really confusing team, and we're never 100% certain which of them is actually going to go off. But at the tight end position, it's worked out pretty clear-cut. We weren't sure between Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, who were both drafted last year. Luke Musgrave actually a fair few rounds higher than Tucker Kraft. But this season, again, it's been night and day. Luke Musgrave is essentially irrelevant, whereas Tucker Kraft has been an 80% plus snap share player. Last week, he saw a 15.4% target share, which is great for a tight end. Now, he's not done a huge amount so far on the season, but as fantasy players, we need to look at the underlying numbers to project future performance as much as we just look at past fantasy performance. And when you look at the snap count, when you look at the target share, and you look at the fact that there's now a much better quarterback coming into the offense, and in a matchup where they're going to have to throw the ball against a good offense and against a defense that can stop the run, Tucker Kraft could be an absolute smash play this week, and he's someone that I really like. Now, he is 71% rostered on Sleeper, so there's a chance that he might be on your waiver wire. If you definitely need someone off waivers, Elijah Higgins is probably the play. Kmet is someone who you probably already own, but is in a smash matchup, but you might be able to go and trade for him. But Tucker Kraft might be available on waivers for you to go and pick up. So if you're playing in redraft, Dynasty, or DFS, I would encourage you to look at these 3 players, as like I said, tight end is a mess right now. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Good luck in week 4.